Something strange is happening with Spider-Man Brand New Day, because even without a new trailer, this movie is somehow generating more discussion than films that already have full marketing campaigns behind them. Every single day, a new poster, a fresh merchandise reveal, or a leaked promotional image appears online, and each one seems to unlock another piece of the puzzle. I have been tracking these updates closely, and the picture forming right now is very different from what many fans expected only a few weeks ago. When the first teaser material surfaced, it looked like Peter Parker was heading toward a full man spider transformation. We saw hints of organic webbing, amplified senses, unusual physical changes, and behavior that felt increasingly unstable. Naturally, fans jumped to the conclusion that Marvel was adapting one of Spider-Man's strangest comic concepts. But the latest information points somewhere else entirely. Instead of turning into a giant spider creature, Peter appears to be going through what many insiders are calling spider puberty, a phase where his powers evolve beyond what we have previously seen. And honestly, that idea might be even more interesting. The reason this update matters so much is because it changes how we view this version of Peter Parker. Until now, Tom Holland's Spider-Man has felt distinct from the earlier live-action interpretations, but Brand New Day seems ready to merge qualities that fans loved from both previous generations. From everything being hinted at, Peter is beginning to carry the loneliness, frustration, and emotional weight that defined Andrew Garfield's version, while also developing the organic webbing most people associate with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. That combination creates a fascinating dynamic. Imagine a hero struggling with isolation after the events that erased him from everyone's memory, while simultaneously discovering that his own body is changing in ways he does not fully understand. Suddenly, the story becomes more than another superhero adventure. It becomes a personal crisis. Peter is not only trying to save New York, he is trying to understand himself. Every new promotional detail seems to reinforce that theme. The physical changes are not being treated as random upgrades. They are becoming part of a larger identity struggle, one that could define his future across multiple Marvel projects. As these mysterious changes continue, Peter reportedly begins searching for answers, and that search leads him to one of the most important characters involved in this story. According to the latest information, Bruce Banner is now working as a professor at Empire State University. On paper, that sounds like the perfect person for Peter to consult. Bruce understands scientific anomalies better than almost anyone in the Marvel Universe, and he also knows exactly what it feels like to live inside a body that can suddenly become something terrifying. But here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. The Bruce Banner we may see here is not the calm Professor Hulk many viewers remember. Reports suggest he is using a specialized inhibitor designed to suppress Hulk transformations entirely. That detail might seem minor at first, yet it feels incredibly important. If Bruce needs technology just to remain himself, then something beneath the surface is already unstable. Peter arrives looking for guidance about his evolving powers, but instead, he may accidentally walk into a situation that is about to spiral completely out of control. The biggest evidence supporting that theory comes from recent promotional artwork that appears to confirm a direct confrontation between Spider-Man and Hulk. And not just any Hulk. The imagery strongly suggests the return of Savage Hulk, the raw, uncontrollable version that fans have wanted to see again for years. If this is truly where Marvel is heading, the implications are massive. Remember, Marvel has long faced limitations regarding standalone Hulk movies, which means major Hulk developments often need to happen inside other projects. By placing Bruce Banner in a Spider-Man film, the studio gains an opportunity to reshape the character without needing a dedicated solo story. More importantly, it creates a pathway toward larger events waiting on the horizon. Movies like Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars will need powerful and unpredictable players on the board. Savage Hulk fits that requirement perfectly. What fascinates me most is that Peter's personal search for answers may unintentionally trigger a transformation capable of affecting the entire Marvel landscape. One scientific investigation could become the spark that unleashes one of the universe's most dangerous forces. Of course, the moment fans heard about a possible Spider-Man versus Hulk battle, one question immediately dominated discussions. How exactly is Peter supposed to survive that encounter? Hulk operates on a completely different level of strength. Even experienced Avengers struggle when Bruce loses control. Yet several reports point toward a clever solution hidden within a seemingly small spoiler. The phrase circulating right now is anti-gamma webbing. According to the rumor, Peter develops a specialized web formula designed not to harm Hulk, but to absorb excess gamma radiation from his body. That concept is actually brilliant because it turns the conflict into a scientific challenge rather than a simple punching match. Peter wins by understanding the problem, not by overpowering it. That approach also aligns perfectly with the character's comic history. Peter Parker has always been one of Marvel's smartest minds, and many viewers forget just how gifted he truly is. We already watched him create cures for multiple villains in No Way Home. Developing advanced gamma-absorbing technology feels like a natural evolution of those abilities rather than an impossible leap. What makes this rumor even more convincing is a leaked image that has attracted enormous attention online. In the picture, Peter appears to be working in front of a monitor while examining either his web shooters or Bruce Banner's inhibitor technology. The most interesting detail is the unmistakable green glow surrounding the equipment. Now, a single image never tells the whole story, but combined with the anti-gamma webbing reports, the connection becomes difficult to ignore. If these clues are accurate, Peter is not simply receiving new powers. He is actively learning how to combine biological evolution with advanced engineering. That is a huge development for this version of the character. The organic webbing hints at changes occurring naturally within his body, while the modified technology demonstrates that he remains the brilliant inventor fans know from the comics. In other words, Brand New Day may finally deliver the balance many viewers have wanted for years. Peter is not choosing between science and superpowers. He is merging both. And that combination could become the key to stopping a threat far beyond his normal limits. But as exciting as the Hulk storyline sounds, it is only one part of a much larger conflict building throughout the film. The villain situation appears absolutely packed. Earlier teaser material already hinted at characters like Scorpion, Tarantula, and Boomerang, which suggested Spider-Man would be facing multiple enemies rather than a single mastermind. Now, fresh promotional artwork has added another major name to the conversation: Tombstone. For longtime comic readers, that reveal is especially interesting because Tombstone thrives in the shadows. He is not the kind of villain who charges into battle seeking attention. He manipulates events, builds influence, and lets others do the dirty work when possible. That makes him a perfect candidate for the hidden architect behind the chaos unfolding across New York. If the reports are accurate, Tombstone could have a significantly larger role than many initially expected. Instead of functioning as another member of a crowded villain roster, he may actually be the figure connecting all the moving pieces together. And if that is true, then every criminal conflict we have heard about could ultimately trace back to his ambitions. The timing of Tombstone's emergence also makes a surprising amount of sense when viewed through the wider Marvel street-level world. After recent events involving Wilson Fisk, the balance of power in New York's criminal underworld appears more fragile than ever. Whenever a vacuum forms in organized crime, somebody inevitably tries to fill it. According to current speculation, Tombstone sees this moment as the perfect opportunity to expand his influence and seize territory before anyone else can react. Suddenly, the presence of multiple villains becomes easier to understand. Rather than acting independently, they may be pieces in a larger strategy designed to destabilize the city and strengthen Tombstone's position. One of the most intriguing clues comes from reports describing a prison sequence involving hand ninjas and Spider-Man. At first glance, many assumed the hand would be connected to Daredevil-related storylines. However, newer theories suggest a different explanation entirely. These ninjas may be attempting to free incarcerated criminals with long-standing grudges against Spider-Man. If Tombstone is orchestrating those escapes, he could effectively build an army without ever revealing his own hand. Just when it feels like the puzzle is finally coming together, another mystery appears and throws everything into question. I am talking about Sadie Sink. Her involvement in the film has been known for quite some time, yet Marvel continues treating her character with an unusual level of secrecy. She has not been heavily featured in marketing. Promotional materials rarely acknowledge her presence. Interviews avoid discussing specifics. For a performer of her profile, that silence feels deliberate. Earlier theories connected her to mutant storylines or even Jean Grey, but the newer rumors point somewhere far more unexpected. Some insiders believe she could be tied directly to the film's central threat. Imagine a character capable of manipulating minds, shifting identities, or influencing people from behind the scenes. Suddenly, several unexplained developments start looking very different. Bruce Banner's potential transformation into Savage Hulk no longer appears random. Peter's escalating problems gain a possible source. Even the growing chaos across New York could fit into a larger design. While nothing is confirmed, the possibility that Marvel is hiding the true villain in plain sight is exactly the kind of twist this studio loves. One theory gaining momentum suggests that Sadie Sink's character may be responsible for pushing Bruce Banner toward disaster in the first place. If she possesses abilities related to mental influence or psychological manipulation, the comparison many fans are making is impossible to ignore. Back in Age of Ultron, Scarlet Witch altered perceptions and exploited hidden fears, creating chaos among the Avengers. A similar approach here could explain why Bruce loses control despite using technology specifically designed to prevent transformations. Instead of defeating the inhibitor through brute force, someone could attack the mind behind it. That possibility adds another layer of suspense because it means Hulk might not be the true enemy at all. He could be another victim. The more I think about it, the more fascinating that scenario becomes. Peter would enter the conflict believing he must stop a rampaging monster, only to discover that a deeper threat has been pulling strings from the shadows. Those are the kinds of revelations that transform a straightforward superhero battle into a genuinely memorable story. And Marvel appears determined to keep that mystery hidden for as long as possible. His methods remain extreme, but his presence instantly raises the stakes. Every scene involving Punisher carries unpredictability because he approaches problems differently than traditional heroes. Spider-Man wants to save people. Daredevil seeks justice. Frank focuses on ending threats permanently. Bringing those philosophies into the same environment creates natural tension. And if Brand New Day truly embraces that street-level atmosphere, Punisher could become one of the film's most compelling wild cards. Beyond the action and conspiracies, the emotional side of Peter Parker's journey appears equally important. Reports indicate that Zendaya's MJ will have a substantial role despite the memory erasure that separated her from Peter at the end of No Way Home. That detail alone opens countless storytelling possibilities. Peter still remembers everything they shared, yet MJ has no reason to recognize him in the same way. It is a heartbreaking situation, and apparently the film intends to explore it rather than rush past it. Some speculation even suggests MJ may once again figure out Peter's secret identity through her own observations. If that happens, it would reinforce one of the strongest aspects of their relationship. She notices things other people miss. At the same time, creators have reportedly indicated that Peter's loneliness and depression will not disappear overnight. Instead, these struggles may continue developing across future stories. Personally, I think that is the right choice. The consequences of losing everyone should matter. Growth becomes far more meaningful when characters carry emotional scars rather than instantly recovering from them. That long-term emotional approach becomes even more interesting when connected to another possibility circulating among fans. Several discussions suggest that Marvel could be laying groundwork for a future Venom storyline. If you know the comics, then you know the symbiote is often drawn toward intense emotions, especially anger, frustration, resentment, and isolation. Those feelings already seem central to Peter's current situation. He is alone. He is carrying enormous responsibility. He is struggling with changes happening inside his own body. He is fighting enemies on multiple fronts. In other words, he is exactly the kind of person a symbiote might find appealing. Now, I am not saying Venom will suddenly appear in Brand New Day. The evidence does not support that conclusion. What I am saying is that Marvel appears to be building a psychological foundation that could make such a development feel completely natural later. Instead of introducing darkness without preparation, the studio may be carefully constructing the emotional conditions required for that story to work. If that plan is real, then Brand New Day becomes more than a standalone adventure. It becomes the beginning of a much larger saga. And finally, let us talk about the question everyone keeps asking. When are we actually getting the next trailer? Based on current reports, there is genuine reason for optimism. A new trailer running approximately 2.5 minutes has reportedly been certified in Canada, which is often one of the clearest signs that a release is approaching. Looking at previous Marvel marketing patterns, many fans believe the most likely window falls between the 15th and 20th of June. If that prediction proves accurate, the official announcement would probably arrive only a few days beforehand. Until then, the promotional images, merchandise reveals, leaked details, and endless theories will continue fueling excitement across the internet. Whether every rumor turns out to be true remains to be seen, but one thing is undeniable. Spider-Man Brand New Day has already succeeded in capturing attention months before audiences sit down in theaters. The mystery surrounding Peter's evolution, the possibility of Savage Hulk, the rise of Tombstone, the secrecy around Sadie Sink, and the emotional future of Peter and MJ have created a fascinating storm of anticipation. And honestly, I cannot wait to see what Marvel reveals next. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like, share, and subscribe.